chapter 11 when Huck meets Mrs. Loftus. Huck and Jim have decided that they need to go into town and see what the stir is about involving Huck's death. So that no one would notice him, Jim disguises Huck as a girl. When he reaches the town, he sees a little house with a woman inside knitting. She had an unfamiliar face, so he decided he would go inside and talk to her and see what he could find out.
Come in. Take a chair. What might your name be?
Sarah Williams.
Whereabouts do you live? In this neighborhood?
No, Mom, I'm from Hookerville, 7 miles below here. I had to walk all the way up here. I'm all tired out.
Hungry too, I reckon. I'll find you something.
No. I'm not hungry. I got so hungry a couple miles below that I had to stop at a farm. See, my mom's all sick and out of money and everything, so I came up to tell my Uncle Abner Moore. Do you know him?
Well, no, but I don't know everybody yet. I haven't lived here quite 2 weeks, but it's a considerable ways to the upper end of town. You better stay here all night. Take off your bonnet.
No, I reckon I'll just rest a while and then I'll be on my way.
Mrs. Loftus said that she wouldn't let Huck go by himself, but her husband would be back in an hour and a half, and she would send him along with Huck. Then she got to talking about her husband, and how they didn't know, but they had made a mistake coming back to our town, instead of letting well alone. And so on, until Huck was afraid he had made a mistake coming to her, to find out what was going on in the town. But by and by, she dropped on about Pat and the murder, and thinks now that he killed his boy, and fixed things so folks would think robbers had done it, just to get Huck's money. You can't prove anything on him, you know. Everything will be quieted down just then, and Pat will end up easily getting Huck's money.
Yes, I reckon so, now. I don't see nothing in the way of it. Does everybody quit thinking the runaway slave done it?
Oh no, not everybody. A good many thinks he done it, and I think they're going to get the runaway pretty soon now, and maybe they can scare it out of him.
Why, are they after him yet?
Well, you're innocent, ain't you? Does $300 lay around every day for people to pick up? Well, some folks think the runaway slave ain't far from here, and I'm one of them. My husband and another man are going over to Jackson's Island today because I had seen smoke over there a day or two ago, and I think the runaway slave is hiding there.
By now, Huck had become very uneasy and couldn't sit still. He had to do something with his hands, so he took a needle off the table and started threading it. His hands shook, and he was making a bad job of it. When Miss Loftus stopped talking, he looked up, and she was looking at him pretty curious, so he put down his needle, and he led on to be interested.
$300 is a powerful amount of money. I wish me and my mom could get it. Is your husband going over there tonight?
Oh yes, he's going uptown with the man I was telling you of to get a boat and see if they could buy another gun. They'll go over there after midnight.
Couldn't they see better if they waited till daytime?
Yes, and couldn't slaves see better too? After midnight, he'll be likely asleep, and they can slip around through the woods and hunt up his campfire all the better for the dog, if he's got one.
Well, I didn't think of that.
Well, what did you say your name was, honey?
Mary Williams.
Somehow, it didn't seem to Huck that he had said it was Mary before, so he didn't look up. It seemed to him that he had said it was Sarah, so he felt sort of cornered, and was afeared maybe he was looking it too. He wished the woman would say something more. The longer she sits still, the uneasier he got. But now she says,
Honey, I thought you said your name was Sarah when you first come in.
Oh yes, Mom, I did. Sarah Mary Williams. Sarah is my first name. Some calls me Sarah, some calls me Mary.
Oh, well, that's the way of it?
Yes, ma'am.
well, the woman fell to talking about how hard times was, and how poor they had to live, and how the rats was as free as if they owned the place, and so forth and so on, and then Huck got easy again. She was right about the rats. You'd see one stick his nose out of a hole in the corner every little while. She said she had to have things handy to throw at them when she was alone, or they wouldn't give her no peace. She showed Huck a bar of lead, twisted up into a knot, and said she was a good shot with it generally, but she wrenched her arm a day or two ago, and didn't know whether she could throw true. But she watched for a chance, and directly she banged away at the rat. But she missed him wide and said, "Ouch!" It hurt her arm so. Then she told Huck to try for the next one. So he did. He drove his arm back and got very close to hitting it.
Well, that was a mighty good shot. Keep this in your lap, handy for next time.
So she dropped the lump into Huck's lap. Just at that moment, he clapped his legs together onto it, and she went on talking, but only about a minute. Then she took off the hank and looked Huck straight in the face, but very pleasant, and says,
"Come now, what's your real name?"
What do you mean, man?
What's your real name? Is it Bill, or Tom, or Bob? Or what is it?
Please don't poke fun at a little schoolgirl like me, man. If I'm in the way here, I'll leave.
No, you won't. Sit down and stay where you are. I ain't going to hurt you. I ain't going to tell him neither. You just tell me your secret and trust me. I'll keep it. And what's more, I'll help you. So will my old man, if you wanted to. You see, you're a runaway princess. That's all. It ain't anything. There ain't any harm in it. You've been treated bad, and you made up your mind to cut. Bless you, child. I wouldn't tell on you. Tell me all about it now. That's a good boy.
So he said it wouldn't be no use to try to play it any longer, and he would just make a clean breast and tell her everything. But she mustn't go back on her promise. Then he told her that his father and mother were dead, and the law had bound him out to a mean old farmer in the country 30 miles back from the river, and he treated him so bad that he couldn't stand it any longer. So he stole some of his daughter's clothes and ran away to his Uncle Abner's house in the town of Goshen.
Goshen? Child, this ain't Goshen. This is St. Petersburg. Goshen's 10 miles further up the river. Who told you this was Goshen?
Why, a man I met up the river this morning, just as I was turning into the woods for my regular sleep. He told me when the road's forked, I must take the right, and 5 miles would fetch me to Goshen.
He was drunk, I reckon. He told you exactly wrong.
Well, he did act like he was drunk, but it ain't no matter now. I got to be moving along. I'll fetch Goshen before night.
Hold on a minute. I'll put you up a snack. You might want it. Say, when a cow's laying down, which end of it gets up first? Answer up prompt now. Don't study over it. Which end gets up first?
The hind end, ma'am.
Well, then a horse.
The forward end, ma'am.
Which side of a tree does moss grow most on?
The north side, ma'am.
If 15 cows is browsing on a hillside, how many of them, each with their heads pointed in the same direction?
Well, the whole 15, ma'am.
Well, I reckon you have lived in the country. I thought maybe you was trying to hoax me in. What's your real name now?
George Peters, ma'am.
Well, try to remember it, George. Don't forget, and tell me it's Alexander before you go. And then go out by saying it's George Alexander when I catch you. And don't go about the old woman in the calico. You do, girl, tolerably poor. But you might fool men, maybe. Bless you, child. When you set a thread to a needle, don't hold the thread and still fetch the needle up to it. Hold the needle and still poke the thread at it. That's the way a woman most always does it. But a man always does it the other way. And when you throw at a rat or anything, hit yourself up a tiptoe and fetch your hand up over your head as awkward as you can and miss your rat about 6 or 7 foot. Now, mind you, when a girl tries to catch anything in her lap, she throws her knees apart. She don't clamp them together the way you did when you catched a lump of lead. Why, I spotted you a boy when you was threading the needle, and I contrived the other things just to make certain. Now, trot along to your uncle, Sarah Mary Williams George Alexander Peters, and if you get into trouble, you can send word to Miss Judith Loftus, which is me, and I'll do what I can to get you out of it. Keep the river road all the way, and next time you tramp, take those shoes and socks with you. The river road's a rocky one, and your feet'll be in a condition when you get to Goshen, I reckon.
Thank you. See you later.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now.
Somehow, it didn't seem to Hannah, I didn't point to you yet.
The Funk Soul Brother.
See you later.
Why, I spotted you a boy when you was... It's hot down hurry. Nolan, like, we're trying to finish.
Don't look at me. I'm gonna run up there and be like, Jim, come on, they're out.